Rise and shine, pals. It's Random Pal here, and I'm coming to you from the 2022 Trans Am Nationals in Fairborn, Ohio. It takes place at the Holiday Inn. That's the host hotel for this event. If you're a fan of not just the Trans Am, but all makes, or all models, I should say, of the Firebird, whether it's the base, the Formula, the Esprit, the GTA, or all the special editions, this is the ultimate destination for you. And if you check out my previous videos, I did a video of last year's, the 2021 Trans Am Nationals, and I also have a video where it has photos from throughout the years. I think it goes back about 15 years of the Trans Am Nationals, so check it out. This video in particular, I'm gonna do something different than I did in my video from last year. I'm gonna give out my random awards. Yes, I'm on a quest to pick out the most random Firebirds, Trans Ams, whatever's out here at the show. Now, this is a show, it's all Firebirds, so the cars aren't gonna be random, but maybe I can find some random features or details or something that looks crazy out in the show field. So check it all out. And I'm gonna start it all off with number 12, kicking things off on the random countdown. Here we have a 4th gen 1999 Trans Am with the WS6 package owned by Craig. Now, there was a good showing of 4th generation Firebirds at the show, the 93 to 2002 model years. But I gotta be honest, there wasn't that many that seemed very random to me. A lot of them seemed stock and kept original condition. Maybe they've had a little modification under the hood, I bet. But anyway, this one really stood out to me. It had a lot of pizzazz, the best way to put it. I really liked the red and white color scheme, both on the outside and inside of the car with the graphics in the interior. It makes me think of strawberries and cream, or maybe strawberries and whipped cream. I hope that makes you hungry. Now, getting back to the car, yeah, I know I made you hungry, right? I really love the attention to details on this car. I like the etched glass that I've seen in the T-tops, all the color matching accents in the interior that match to the seats. I love the chrome that's under the hood with the bird decal. And those mirrors, check out those mirrors underneath the hood. For some reason, that reminds me of the ceiling at the Playboy Mansion. Let's get this party started. Number 11 on the most wanted list, most random list. Here we have a running, driving project car. This car is a regular chip off the old big block. This 75 TA owned by Kyle made my random list because he was brave enough to show it off in a field of nice shiny cars. And as you can see from the decal on the windshield, it's been in the power tour. So this car has gotten around, it's got some miles on it, it's driven, it's not a trailer clean, it's not a show car, it is driven. And you can tell by the way it looks. I'm sure Joe Dirt would be proud of this car the way it is right now, but maybe someday it'll get a really nice paint job. I wonder what color the owner will pick. But anyway, this is why it made my random list, because it is different. It stands out. It's not shiny like the other cars. It is very random in a field of show cars. So Kyle, good luck with your project car. Keep that hammer down, keep those wheels spinning, and keep those beavers grinning. 10-4, good buddy. Numero 10, most random. So at this year's show, there wasn't a whole lot of special edition Trans Ams as there has been in the past, but there were 4 76 limited edition 50th anniversary Trans Ams that showed up. 50th anniversary meaning 50 years of Pontiac. And these Trans Ams, 3 of them, I should say, were pretty stock, factory original. No custom touches, just how they rolled off the assembly line at the factory pretty much. And then there's this 76 Trans Am limited edition, nicknamed Blackhawk, that kind of seems like a clone, but I know the history of this car. The build sheet says it is a 50th anniversary edition. Now this car has a lot of modifications, most notably the wheels. It has the turbo wheels, the hood bird. The hood bird is painted on, it's not a decal. It has color change paint on the eye and the flame coming out of the bird with the chameleon paint. A little custom touch there. But also, there are more custom touches to this car than meets the eye. The T-tops, for example, originally they were a Hurst T-top roof, but this car is now sporting the Fisher T-top roof. It's got the tinted black windows. It's missing all the little pinstripes on the car. So it has a lot of deviation from when it rolled off the assembly line on the factory, and it could be easily dismissed as not a genuine 50th anniversary limited edition. Check out the inside. The inside, it's got the cool Too Hot floor mats, and it has the aftermarket racing seats with the fire extinguisher in the back. It doesn't look too custom in the interior other than the seats, but it was actually an automatic car originally. Now it sports a 4-speed Muncie transmission. And you might be asking, well, how do you know so much about this car? Did you spend a lot of time talking with the owner? Well, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. This is actually my own personal car. And you might say, me putting it in my award show, that's an unfair advantage. I'm cheating. Well, you know, at least I'm not one of the judges at the show, and I'm not running for office. Now back to the car. It does still have the 6.6 400 V8 motor, but it has Otter heads on it, Edelbrock intake, and Edelbrock carburetor. And I also, for the record, still have my honeycomb wheels and my factory seats. They're sitting in my basement right now. Number 9 on Total Request Live. I mean most random. Here we have a 1979 Trans Am owned by Jennifer. And what gets my attention most about this car is its love it or hate it color scheme. I just dig that bright yellow with the interior. It's got this stripe pattern with the yellow, orange, red tones in it. And it screams 80s McDonald's Happy Meal to me. And it just makes me happy. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out here that would appreciate it too. Some people may not be a big fan of that color scheme, but it is pretty cool. Now, outside of the interior treatment, it does seem to be an all-natural car. It looks pretty stock. I did not see what's under the hood since the hood was closed, so I can't say for certain if it's stock under the hood. But anyway, it's a very cool car, and as you probably noticed on the back window, it's participated in Firebird Fest. So I'm sure this car gets around to some events other than just the Trans Am Nationals. Don't be late, here comes number 8. So here I have a hard decision to make. And I'm not talking about the girl, I'm talking about the two 4th generation race car Firebirds behind her.
The situation is much worse across the country.
Okay, I'll wait.
Deaths are being blamed on this record heat wave.
So I have a tie going on here. I have an 01 TA owned by James and a 95 Firebird owned by Jim. So I got to break this tie. So I'm just going to go with a random number. I'm going to pick number 69 on the race car owned by Jim. Why? Because, you know, 69 is just such a random number. They even got a 69 mile an hour speed limit in Nevada. Can you believe that or not? That's so random, I don't know what to say. Now this number 6995 Firebird, which is number 8 on my countdown, well, that's a lot of numbers thrown at you, seems to be a very serious track car. I seriously doubt it's street legal. It has a very stripped down interior, but the outside does kind of appear to be stock other than the decals everywhere and the lack of glass on the side windows. Kind of a giveaway there that it's something more than just a street car. So whether you like the green 96 race car better than the green 69 race car is up to you, but I had to break the tie, and that's why I picked number 69. This very random number. Lucky number 7, most random on the countdown. Here we have a 69 Trans Am owned by Tom. But wait, it's blue with white stripes? Thought all 69 Trans Ams were white with blue stripes. Well, there is that exception, the prototype for the 69 Trans Am, which was in palladium silver. But this one here appears to be a genuine 69 Trans Am. It had a paper in the windshield showing the 4-speed and the Trans Am option on the 69 hardtop coupe order. So why the inverted blue and white color scheme on this car? It's anybody's guess, as I was unable to catch up with the owner, Tom. But it'd be interesting to know the history of this car. It does appear to be genuine. I mean, you look at all the parts. It's got the Formula Trans Am steering wheel, and it's got the scoops, the hood, spoilers, so it does check off all the right equipment on this car. If the owner or somebody that knows this car is watching this video, leave me a comment below. Let me know the history of this car. It is very interesting, and this is why I picked it for my random pick. Number 6. We're halfway there on the countdown. Here we have this 76 Trans Am owned by Glenn, and it's painted in slightly carousel red and slightly primer. It is a project in progress, and as you can see, it does have some nice details to it. If you overlook the body, check out those wheels. They're very nice. They're honeycomb wheels. They're aftermarket year ones, and the interior is nicely done. Also, the engine compartment looks nice and clean too. And you can't help but miss those bolt heads sticking out of the rear quarter panel. Must be a new trend. Looks cool, and it holds the rear quarter panel in place. Kudos to the owner Glenn for bringing this project car to the show field. Maybe one day this car will shine like the rest of them at the show, but until then, it gets my random award. Hey look, the rear quarter's got color matching duct tape. Or maybe it's that Flex Seal tape and they make it in orange now. But anyway, it adds a little character to the car. Number 5 most random. Here we have this very bright yellow 81 Trans Am. It's so bright, I need some sunglasses just to look at it. And it's owned by a guy named James. This is a show-go kind of car. Dig that LSX 376 motor, and just for your information, as it is on the windshield, it has a Magnuson Supercharger. Wowee! And check out all the little subtle custom touches, like to the ground effects and the little antenna on top. And check out the inside. You can tell that's the Trans Am Swiss cheese formula steering wheel, but it's also got the flattened bottom and the stripe in the center of the steering wheel at the top. It reminds me a lot of the Formula 1 style race cars. The rear deck lid spoiler even has its own unique treatment. I do like how they left the little bird in between the taillights, a stock piece there. It looks really nice with the custom touches that have been done to the car and the ground effects and everything else that complements this car very, very well. This car just oozes coolness, and that's why I picked it. Number 4 most random. Sorry to interrupt this programming, but I'm here to bring you an important safety reminder. When staying at your hotel room, read this sign right here. It says, "Do not hang items from sprinkler head. They will cause flooding." So don't do it, folks. Here we have a very nice 87 GTA TA Trans Am. That's a lot to say, right? Anyway, I don't know who the owner is because there was no judging sheet in the window, so we'll just say it's some random person. So, random person, your car is one of the top random cars on my list. And I really love this car. It's got the little Knight Rider theme going on in the front with the scanner light. It's also got the bird on the hood. And look, it's a notchback. A notchback. How many times do you see a notchback car? That's just like saying, how many times do you see a Monte Carlo Aero Coupe? Not very many. So this car is definitely rare indeed. The black, gold, and tan color scheme on this car complements the car very well. And I just love this big, massive second-gen hood bird on the hood. And as you can see, the hood bird runs over onto the louvers on the hood. It's so big. Number 3 on the countdown is this beautiful. Like I was saying, this beautiful black and silver, very wild custom 68 Pontiac Firebird owned by Terry. Now this car is a lot of go with its blown supercharged engine with the dual quads pumping all that fuel. And not only is it go, but it's also a lot of show too. There's a lot of really nice aftermarket touches, a lot of custom upgrades. I really dig that front custom chin on the car. It really sets it off very nicely. Just sitting here drooling all over this car, I can tell that a lot of blood, sweat, and money went into making this ride as nice as it is today. This is one of those cars that I really do believe is clean enough to eat off of. That is, until the owner catches you doing that. It won't be pretty. But anyway, congratulations on the car. It is very, very beautiful. Number 2 most random car is a 1981 Turbo Trans Am Daytona 500 pace car in red. Wait a minute, red? They were all came in white. Okay, well there's a little bit of a story behind this one. It was very interesting that the original vision for the 81 Trans Am pace car was red, but the powers that be at GM decided on white. So we got white pace cars instead of red. Now, seeing this car, it's a very bold car. It makes a very bold statement as far as a pace car. This car is very nicely done. It's got the pace car interior. You can see the red and black Recaro seats. Very beautiful and matches the outside of the car very well. And as you can see, the decals on the car, this car has been in a lot of events, including the Bandit Run. So it's got itself around. And I just love seeing something different. And this is definitely different. It's well done. And it's the car that could have been, but wasn't. And not only that, but the engine that could have been. As I can see, the owner decided to ditch the original turbo motor. Because, you know, if you know anything about the turbo motors, they weren't very fast. They didn't have a whole lot of aftermarket parts. Well, I don't think they had any aftermarket parts for that matter. So anyway, a nice upgrade to this very nice ride. And now it's time for the ultimate most random winner! A 76 Formula owned by Norman. I bet you could tell it's a Formula since it doesn't have a shaker scoop. Dig that scoop out. It looks like a jet turbine engine. This car is wild. I bet it could run a couple of Teslas into a ground. Get it? Run a couple of Teslas into a ground? A little electric car humor for y'all. This car stood out to me for a lot of reasons. I really love the orange and black paint scheme. The orange actually reminds me of the color of my Lotus Elise, which is chrome orange. I like how this car is set up. It's a show car, it's a drag car, and it's also plated, so I guess it sees some street time too. But you don't see too many serious drag cars these days. And serious, I mean, it's got the parachute, it's got the wheelie bars, so it won't turn into some kind of bucking Bronco. Okay, I guess I should say bucking Bronco. We're getting into Ford territory now. But anyway, you'll see some cars in the show these days with the fat, slick tires, but not set up to the point that this car is. I just love how this car is laid out. I really like the dash bezel. That really stands out to me, how it matches the outside paint scheme of the car. Now, Sheriff Justice, he's on his way to hand out all the trophies, or should I say tickets, to all the friendly folk who just won a random award at the show. So you folks just sit tight till one of his associates arrives. They're in there right now to hand out the awards. And don't go home, don't go to eat, and don't play with yourself. Really look nice in the hotel lobby. Oh, you can think about it, but don't do it. Well, pals, that's the end of the show. Thanks for watching. And let me know in the YouTube comments down below what you think was the most random car either I featured or maybe a car that you've seen at the show in person that I didn't feature. So let me know. Thanks for watching. So if you never want to miss another random car video, remember, ring that bell.